How's it, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome back to another episode of Cosplay Con Talk, where we basically discuss everything pertaining to the cosplay community and conventions. I'm doing another segment on Get to Know That Cosplayer, and I am joined by Samantha Passy. How are we doing, Sam?
I'm doing good.
So again, thank you for being on here, and if anyone knows, Sam is the daughter of one of the returning guests, Brian, or I can't remember his name, his Instagram handle, but
I don't know what it is either. So.
But again, thank you for coming on, and thank you for being interested in this podcast series. So basically, we're going to talk about how long you've been cosplaying for, the cosplays you've done, some experiences, advice, stuff like that. So let me actually get my phone so I can write down the cosplays that I mentioned. Give me a minute. So right before I talk about your cosplays, how long have you been cosplaying for? What got you into it?
So my interest got piqued around 2015, and then I didn't actually start cosplaying until like 2017, technically.
Nice. So you've been cosplaying for about 6 years almost now, since we're getting into 2023. Yeah, I think I remember seeing you and your dad's cosplays at Medford Comic-Con back in 2017, and you were cosplaying as an armored version of Nightwing.
Yes, with the really bright red hair.
Yep. And you had his batons and everything too.
I loved that costume, and I'm sad it doesn't fit, but I still have the chest piece for it.
I can see that. You even have Red Hood's chest piece in the background too. A lot of, and if I'm not mistaken, I see the Red Hood helmet and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll most likely be talking about those cosplays since you have like a good chunk of them shown.
Yeah. Sorry, this is the only room that was like quiet, and then
no,
showing off stuff.
You're perfectly fine. I like when, if a cosplayer can show off their stuff in the background, makes it a whole lot easier. So your first was Medford Comic-Con, your very first con?
No, I don't know what year it was. I think it was 2015 or 2016. It was Eugene Comic-Con in Eugene, Oregon.
I've heard of UConn.
I don't know if they still do it anymore because that was like 6 years ago. But I don't know if I count the costume I wore because it was just something I threw together from like clothes in my closet.
Closet mix match cosplays count. Do you remember what it was?
I don't. I have a picture of it. I don't know what I was trying to be, but my dad had made like a shoulder piece and I think like a mace out of foam, and he had like some knives from a cosplay that didn't work out, so I just kind of stole it all. I was like, well, I don't know what I'm trying to be, but
basically like an OC in a sense.
Yeah, it's like this is what it looks like if you can see it.
I can see it. It looks like an OC.
It was supposed to be.
You might as well just say like it's an OC, which
it worked.
it worked. And if I'm not mistaken, for a while your dad made a good chunk of your cosplays for a while.
Yeah, so I have one of my Nightwings. So I have 3 different versions of Nightwing. So the first version he did was made in like a day because I couldn't make up my mind. So it was like foam on a chest piece and then foam on shoes that I had that were like 4 sizes too small. And then he just stuck a vinyl sticker to it and called it good.
Which, it works. Which I do see the vinyl stickers in the background as well.
Oh yeah.
Hey, it works, you don't
does.
always have to go above and beyond.
Yeah, so that's the that was made in the day.
No, it looks really well made. Wearing like a Zentai suit. Is that like a Zentai suit?
It's thermal, like underclothing. That I don't know where I got it, but it was like, oh, we'll see if this works, and it worked for what the costume was. It wasn't my favorite Nightwing costume, but you got to start somewhere.
I mean, it works, and I could tell Nightwing's your favorite. Your favorite outfit. I guess we'll talk more about what made you want to cosplay Nightwing. So if you can remember, how many conventions have you attended, and what's been your favorite convention?
So I think 4. No, 5. If you count Medford Comic-Con, which I do, then it'd be 5.
I do count, despite the con, being completely shut down after during COVID.
Eugene Comic Con was the first one I went to, and then it was Medford Comic Con 2017. Also, in the same year, I went to Rose City in Portland.
Nice.
And before I married my husband, we did Rose City together and Salt Lake City Comic Con, now Fan X.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was culture shock because it's like two huge conventions.
Oh,
and
FedEx
they
and
were a week. Oh, they were a week apart.
yeah, Rose City Comic Con is for anyone who's never been to a big convention, it's going to be a culture shock
Yeah.
for anyone.
Compared to Eugene Comic Con, which is like this really small con when it first started, and it's like go to Rose City that's been around a while. It's like,
And
oh
then
man,
Fan Expo.
what I expected.
So what was it like when you went to Rose City for the first time? You were saying that it was a culture shock, but like, I guess something I always ask, what advice would you want to give to someone who's wanted to go to a convention for the first time and they don't want to go to them small local, they want to go to a big con? What advice would you want to give?
I would say like if you want to go, like I know a lot of people have said this before, like go with friends or like family, which I definitely recommend because I think it's more fun that way.
Oh yeah, most
And
definitely.
also like you don't feel pressured to be in a costume. I mean, I just threw something together in like a closet, or you can wear a nerd shirt, like something that you're comfortable in, and then just get the experience. And if it's like a 3 or 4 day con, I would suggest like maybe going one day and then seeing how you like it. And then if you
Oh
want to
yeah.
buy another day pass, like do it that way. Cause all 3 days at Rose City and Fan X, that was kind of a lot.
Oh, I bet, since you've never
And
done
in costume, it was a lot for my first time. It's like, oh, so I would definitely recommend take it slow.
oh yeah, you're used to, it sounds like you're usually used to like a 1 or 2 day con, but like a 3 to 4 day con, like you really have to
Oh,
you not only do you have to mentally prepare, but financially prepare for those cons too.
oh yeah. Especially if it's in a different state and it's like a week apart from a different one. Like I would say like if you want to do a big con, like plan how many days you want to go and then take it slow. And like even a cheap Halloween costume if you wanted to do something in character would work.
And then, like I always say,
Or you don't have to dress up. Like whatever makes it comfortable.
as I always say, there is nothing wrong with that. On
Or
that
stand outside.
well, that too. On that topic of going, would you recommend bringing a convention exit buddy with you? Basically, bring a friend along, even if they're not like, really into all that stuff that you're into for the con. It's good to have like an extra friend to have just in case you need it's like you need to like go somewhere and calm down or just like rest for a bit and then go back.
Oh yeah, I would absolutely recommend that. Because I've done that. It's like I've needed someone with me. It's like, we got to go outside for a second.
Completely valid. So the next question, and I usually ask, since you mentioned like just throwing stuff together, for a first time cosplayer or cosplayer who wants, someone who wants to get into cosplay on a budget, would you recommend thrifting for your cosplays?
Yeah, I've done that. So it's more affordable. And like if there's small pieces that you can't buy anywhere, like you can make them. But thrifting is definitely a good option.
What have been some of your thrifted cosplays, if you can remember?
So, oh wow. There were a couple of pieces that I got for different costumes, like that jacket that I was holding with the mace, except my dad ruined it because he put it in the dryer. But, oh yeah, I was not. That's why it's like so shredded because he stuck it in the dryer.
We're not trying to give you crap, Ryan, by the way, if you're watching
Yeah, it's
this.
like that was my jacket, but I got that for a Katniss one, and so it's like, oh, I'll just use this. So like it's been different pieces of costumes that I've planned to use for something, but just use it for like an original character idea if I don't have a plan for like a mainstream DC character.
Right. Nice.
So
So you say
I can't remember.
hey, it happens, and like
It's
I said,
been a while.
like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. Let's see, what other questions do I have before we talk about your cosplays? Oh yeah, advice for someone who wants to go to a con in general, like someone who's never done before, but they want to see what it's like. What advice? would you want to give?
I would say just have fun. Like, even if you're not into the fandoms, because there's a lot of them. Like, I'm not a huge fan of anime,
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with
but
that.
but I enjoy looking at everything that's anime, because there are some things like, oh, I kind of want this. I don't know what it is, but I want it. So I would just say just enjoy the experience. And then if that leads you to like costuming or helping your friends with it, like that's great too.
Nice. Yeah, like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. So, you said your husband likes to go with you to conventions. Have you guys ever done cosplays together, or does he cosplay?
He doesn't cosplay anymore, or at least not as much. But in 2017, we were Nightwing and Batman at Medford Comic Con.
Nice.
And then the same thing with Rose City and the same thing with Salt Lake City. So it for us it's just mainly been Nightwing and Batman.
Nice.
But
I think I saw I think I've seen. Well, you said Medford Comic Con he's been to. I think I've seen probably a few of his
yeah,
cosplays then. If you're talking about like Stormtrooper or Batman and stuff like that.
yeah,
Nice.
6'3" Batman.
Nice. So we're gonna talk about some of your cosplays. First off, have you ever made any of your own cosplays before?
um, it was only after like I moved to Utah with my husband that I started making my own. So it's been what, like 4 years now,
Nice.
with some help from my husband with certain things like that Red Hood helmet. I had no idea how to make that, so he helped me make it.
Nice. What material? I don't know if you're able to grab it and like actually show it up close.
Yeah, I can grab it.
Okay. We'll get a little close. Oh, that's
Very shiny.
very shiny. Mine, for those who are watching, mine's showing a up close. Take it off the foam head. That
So,
is really cool. That looks
so
like really detailed as well.
the problem is the only breathing holes that this helmet has are the eyes.
Oh,
So I don't, this is more of like a hero helmet when I'm in Red Hood, because it hurts my face because it shrunk a lot because it's EVA foam
ah,
and it's with the silicone caulking that you use for walls.
hmm.
That's what this is covered in, and then it's just primered and painted.
That's it. That looks really well made. How long did it take your husband to get that made?
I want to say like 3 or 4 weeks.
That's not. I mean, it's very detailed, very shiny, and like
It's like every coat that you do, you let it dry overnight and then sand it, then do another coat and then
it's
sand.
now, are the eyes covered by mesh material or where or
Yeah, it's like a fabric.
no? That
Like
what's
stuff.
what's the visibility like in that thing when you have it on?
Um, it's actually pretty decent. I just can't look any direction except straight.
Gotcha.
There's no peripheral like vision that I have because the eye holes are.
No,
so
makes any advice for someone who's I guess next question. Advice for someone who's wanting to make their first cosplay. Whether they want to make it themselves or have help, I should say.
So I would suggest make it as simple as possible to start with, and then like slowly build up the difficulty level, because I know like when I first started it was daunting. It's like, oh, I want to make it look like this person's, but I didn't have the skill set. So I made it as easy as possible, and I bought like pre-made templates or found free ones online to kind of help me and guide me. And then now I'm starting to make my own patterns. So that would be my advice.
Nice. And plus I'm sure you learned a lot from your dad too, because I've seen his stuff. So imagine
yeah.
you had a little help here and there I'm sure there were times where when you're making something you probably had to ask him for advice.
Oh yeah, like so I'm gonna show another helmet. So this is kind of my Mandalorian helmet that is made out of
Nice.
EVA foam as well.
That looks
So
pretty cool.
I asked my dad how the cheeks were made. because I was able to make everything else except these stupid cheeks. Like I couldn't get the indent correct, and it drove me nuts. And then I asked my husband, it's like, hey, how do I do this?
And,
But I got there at the end.
and there is nothing wrong with asking help from someone else. And like people always said, YouTube's your best friend, or it's always sometimes it's good to have family who's like made a bunch of stuff like this. How long did it take for the Mando helmet?
Um, this took a couple months because I tried to make it the same way we did with the Red Hood, except it didn't really work very well. And the first time I made it, I really liked how it looked, and then all of the paint peeled off because it didn't dry properly.
Oof.
So it cracked all over the place. So I had to spend like another 2 weeks redoing the entire thing.
Oh, jeez.
It made me so sad.
How many layers of paint is on the Mando helmet?
Like probably 10.
That's a lot, but it looks like it's held up pretty well.
Yes. And then, like 8 layers of the silicone stuff.
I mean, when did you make the Mando helmet?
Probably 2 months ago at this point.
Nice.
This is my newest costume that I've made.
Nice.
Because I wore it at FanX in September. So.
Oh, that's okay. Okay. Now I know we're talking about FanX and Salt Lake.
Yeah.
I'm still getting used to it being called Fan Expo because I remember when it was called Salt Lake City Comic Con.
I hated when they changed it.
Oh, I imagine because there's a lot of
I still call it Salt Lake City Comic Con. So
because there's a lot of cons that are called Fan X. Yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah.
So talking about your cosplays now, what's that one cosplay you've not done in so long that you would love to do it again? Whether it's you want to update it or just cosplay the OG version.
That's hard.
It's always those curveball questions that always stump people. We can get back to it if you want.
Well, so lately I do some charity work. I am a part of some charity groups, and so I've worn almost all of my costumes lately. So it's hard to choose which one I haven't worn quite as much. Probably my spider suit. I don't wear that very often.
Which version of the spider suit? The PS4 version or
I have the PS4 one that I impulsively bought, and then I have the what is it? Far from home. Far from home suit. That's what it is.
Yeah, recently I saw on your Facebook that you did some Photoshop and have it where you're wearing your PS4 spider suit and like you're in New York or something. So Spider-Man PS4.
I thought that turned out hilarious.
Hey, sometimes there's those cosplays that are impulse buy because you want to wear it.
Yeah, and I found it on Amazon. It was like $30. It's like, you're mine.
That's not bad, and the quality looks really well done too.
It's just because I'm just picky because I get this from my dad. It's just the seams kind of bother me on the wrists because they don't line up, but you don't see them.
Right. And
I don't have my wrists out, so it's like, it's fine.
And I've seen those spider suits where like the superheroes in suits where they have or even the gloves where they have that the zipper on them, the invisible zipper, so you can if you need to wash your hands or take a selfie or eat something.
Yeah, mine don't have that, so I have to take off the entire top half of the suit. So I want to put zippers on the wrist.
I'm sure. I mean, if I've seen people do it, and I'm sure yeah,
it's a fun suit to wear. I just wish it came apart, but I don't.
And I'm sure with the talent, the skill you have, I'm sure you can find a way to modify it to put the zippers where you need them.
Yeah, and my sewing has vastly improved, so I can do that more easily now, which is great.
Since you've worn Spider-Man suits or Zentai suits, advice for those who have never worn one. What advice would you want to give? Because I know one of the go ahead. I know one anyway.
So I think regardless if you're a male or female, and my dad can probably attest to this at some point, is you're in a skin tight suit. So even though you're covered, you feel extremely exposed. So I wear 2 bodysuits under my spider suit because it feels so wrong just with just one. So I would heavily suggest wearing something underneath. That's something that I learned really fast. Also, I did not realize that it would be somewhat see-through in some parts.
Oh yeah, I've
And
heard.
wearing that at a convention, it's like, don't
I've seen my fair share of Spider-Man suits where especially male cosplayers, and I
Oh
was
yeah, it
like,
gets bad.
I'm not trying to bash any, and I've heard.
Well, I'm not either. I'm just saying, I highly
I,
recommend bodysuits.
I've heard bodysuits. I've also heard recently, if you don't want to wear a bodysuit, of someone I heard where you can wear a dancer's belt, so you're not showing full. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've also heard baby powder is also a good help too.
That's funny, baby powder. Haven't heard that one.
Yeah, well, to quote Spider-Man Peter Parker from Into the Spider-Verse movie. Baby, well, I mean, because I imagine you get really sweaty under their suits, so baby powder would probably help.
Oh yeah.
But especially if you're, if you're cosplaying a Spider-Man suit and you don't want to wear anything underneath it.
Yeah. And I don't wear my spider mask because the first mask I have just looks ridiculously stupid. But the second suit with the PS4 one looks, and I have a lot of hair and it just doesn't look right in the back, so I go without the mask, but I like carry it with me, so I have a little bit more breathing room than most people.
Nice.
Which is nice.
I imagine with all the hair you have, it's never fun trying to put your hair the style you want it, and then.
Oh no, like my Nightwing wig is it's a nightmare. It's worth it, but it's somewhat a nightmare. Yeah, I would definitely recommend secondary bodysuits.
Hey, that's a really good idea. Or like,
even more so if you are female.
Oh no, I agree. Or if like you're to cosplay as Batman, it's a good idea.
Yeah, just
well, that and you're also staying warm, especially if you're going to a convention that's really cold.
Yeah, because when I wore mine at FanX in September usually cools down in Utah quite a bit, and I was freezing, so I wore 2 of them and I stayed pretty warm.
Hey, that's some sound advice. Plus, they're skin tight, so you're not like seeing the wrinkles or anything outside of the suit.
Or you can strategically place like body warmers and have toe warmers on to keep yourself warm too. I've done that. I did that on Saturday.
Nice. Oh, God, what was it? I was gonna ask something else about bodysuits, and I lost my train of thought. I'll probably get back to it shortly. Anyway, moving on. What's that one cosplay? It was kind of a one and done, like you wore it once and that was it. Whether someone asked you to, you wanted to see what it was like, or it was just more of a hell of it kind of cosplay, and you've never done it since.
So have you ever heard of the Wiggles?
I have heard of that shit. That Australian that kid show from Australia.
I haven't worn it since yet. She is in my character lineup for like charity stuff and just having fun with it. But I worked with a character company for a very short time, and they wanted me to wear an Emma Wiggles costume. It was for a birthday party Wiggles. For like a 6 month.
Do you say Emma?
Yeah, Emma Wiggles. She's the yellow wiggle.
Okay, I'm looking her up right now. Continue.
Yeah, so it was for a birthday party. I think she was like between 6 months and a year, or just turning a year old. And I like looked at some of her songs, and she sings ridiculous songs, like a yellow bow being in her hair. And so I had to sing that song at the birthday party. You mean
that outfit right there? I think I have seen that. That's just that's a lot of yellow. Holy crap.
Yeah, I have the costume, and it's like a very bushy skirt and very like tight turtleneck.
Oh, that just feels uncomfortable.
Oh, it can be. At least the costume I borrowed was heavily uncomfortable. It was very itchy.
Oh, it was a costume that you borrowed.
Yeah, so it was I rented it. I since then bought my own to do stuff with because I enjoyed it. I just haven't done anything with it since because it was not a good time.
Makes sense.
But it was fun to play her because she's really silly, really goofy. She dances and sings, which is something I don't really do on a normal basis. And I've never done a character like her before, so it was something new and different, and I enjoyed it. But I haven't done it since.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's those cosplays you haven't done in so long that you're just like, yeah, I don't want to do
Oh,
it again.
I think she would be who I would pick on that one.
That's perfectly valid. Next cosplay related question. What has been your biggest build cosplay? Like it took a long time to make it to get just how you want it to get.
Uh, it's got to be between my Mando and Nightwing. Sorry, Nightwing's gonna come up a lot. That's a character I cosplay the most.
Yeah. Hey, which version is that? The armored Nightwing or?
So I made kind of like a stealth version of Nightwing.
Stealth Nightwing. How long did he take?
That took about 5 months.
And that's been your that's been your longest one?
Yeah. Because I wanted it to look a certain way. And it's not a costume that I've seen done before. It's an original idea. So it's not quite like the Dick Grayson Nightwing that you normally see. So
Right, and there's been many variations of him, especially with Gotham Knights that just recently came out.
yeah, and I remade the chest armor at least 4 times because it wasn't looking how I wanted it to. I needed it to be a certain shape, and I wanted it to be a thicker foam. So I had to wait on like getting the foam ordered for it so I could make the costume, and then I finally was able to do it. Now it seems ridiculous because I really just spent that much time on the chest piece because I wanted it to look how I had it in my head.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
I think it's that one right there.
The one in the center or the red one?
The one in the center.
Yeah, let's take a closer look at that bad boy. Now that's made from EVA. Is that made from EVA foam?
It is.
Whoa!
This entire thing also exposing my secrets.
What are those?
So I wanted to reinforce the seams because they were like trying to fall apart. So I stuck like craft foam on it. And this is duct tape because they wore this on Saturday and it decided to fall apart. So I gotta fix this later, but duct tape worked.
And it's held by the snap buckles too. That is
so there's buckles on the bottom, in the center, and then above. So it's like a vest. Nice. And I head through it.
How much does that bad boy weigh?
Probably 8 to 10 pounds.
That's fairly light. And I know how long did it take to get all the proportions right to match to your body type?
I'm not sure how long, but it took a fair amount of like trial and error because I would template it out on paper and then match it to my body so it would fit. But the abs should have been shorter, but I don't want to ruin it because it's so pretty. So like this just stabs me in the gut every time.
What method of measurements do you use? Because I know some people will use a saran wrap and masking tape method.
I think that's what I used.
I mean, it's been a well-known thing. A well-known cosplayer, Kamoya Cosplay, uses that method a lot.
Yeah. Also, this took about a month or so to do because
just the chest piece alone.
Yeah. So I don't know if you can see it, but there's fabric on here.
Yeah, I mean, if once you show the I see. Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
That is on this bottom part and this whole like breastplate, and then up here and on the back.
Nice.
The way that I attached it is the worst way I could have done, because because it was a last minute thing. I had this painted and primered already and like painted how I want it to look. And then it's like, oh, let's add fabric, which meant I had to redo the whole thing. So I covered it in Mod Podge and then layered fabric on it and then cut the fabric out, layered even more Mod Podge on it and like dried it with a hair dryer.
I
So
imagine
that
there
I
was. I imagine there was a
could
lot. I imagine there was a lot of tears with with that particular piece.
yeah, so I cried a lot because it took a long time and I would stay up pretty late. But if you have long hair and using a Dremel, I highly recommend you put your hair up.
Oh, with any,
Because
whether you're male or female and long hair, that's putting your hair up because imagine your hair got caught in the Dremel.
oh yeah, and it's on video somewhere and like my blooper thing for the video I made of how I made this.
Well, I'll only show that if you want that to be shown in this interview.
But it's like I was bending down to sand like the rough parts of the fabric because it's heavily coated in Mod Podge. It gets a little stiff, and I had my hair to the side and it got caught and it just whacked me in the forehead like with the Dremel.
Oh no!
So knotted. My husband, I think, spent about 2, maybe 3 hours rubbing coconut oil in my hair to get it unknotted.
Well, it's better than the alternative of cutting it.
I was just gonna take scissors and just cut it. And no, don't do that. Like, let me go get some coconut oil. So, so don't do that.
I mean,
It was awful.
oh
Like,
yeah.
I laugh about it now, but it hurt.
Oh, I bet it did.
Like, because it was on the highest power that I could put it on.
So I'm sure since you learned anytime you work with a Dremel in your cosplays or any project.
Yeah, I put it up and put it in a hat.
Hey, that works. Speaking of making, speaking of making your cosplays, have you ever made your own props before? Like with Nightwing, did you make his stun batons?
Yeah, so those are made, and they also have a pair for Red Hood too.
Nice.
I can show them to you if you want.
Sure. I mean, it seemed like visual of like versions.
Nightwing and Red Hood everywhere.
Yeah, let's see the stun. Oh, nice.
So
Now, do they light up or are they just colored like that?
Not these ones, but I do want light up ones.
I have seen light up ones. Like I've seen pictures of them and I've seen people on Etsy make the LED ones.
Yeah, they're just a little out of my price range, but at some point it will happen. But yeah, so this is my Red Hood one. And so a lot of people use magnets, but these twist.
Oh, nice.
So then it comes apart. And then the same thing goes with my Nightwing ones.
Nightwing staff and Red Hood staff.
Yeah, so these are cool.
How long did those take to make? Both of them?
I think I made these in like 2 days.
That's impressive.
Yeah, just finding the right parts for like the tips and the bottom pieces so it connects properly.
What materials are they made from?
PVC pipe.
Hey, PVC pipe is a prop maker's best friend.
Like a grip tape.
That's that's impressive though. That's really cool.
Like you can see how similar they are.
Oh yeah, they're definitely similar, and they both just screwed together.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I made my sister a pair of Deathstroke ones.
Nice.
Yeah, so you just twist it together and then
I mean, I've never heard of people use a magnet method, but that like using like a screw method, yeah, it may take as long.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you would love to do a magnet method later on.
Oh yeah. Because I couldn't figure out how to put these on my back when I didn't want to hold them. Mm-hmm. So for Nightwing, I made a quiver.
Hey,
that's where these go in, which
works.
Is a lot better than magnets because then I don't have to worry about like ruining the jacket.
Yeah, because I know people like, yeah, no, I totally get that. Now with Red Hood, I know he has guns as well. Have you ever had gun props as well for Red Hood?
I do. They're a Nerf gun repaint, but they count.
That works. So now, the question I wanted to ask
Over there.
earlier. Oh yeah, I can see him from here definitely. So what made you choose to have Nightwing as your comfort character? Like, what wanted you
So,
to cosplay Boy Wonder?
so clearly, I'm a DC fan.
I mean, the shirt, it's a dead giveaway.
The only Marvel character I have is the Spider Suit. Otherwise, it's all DC. But I watched a short fan series from Ismahawk on YouTube, which is a fantastic series. And he was Nightwing, and so it's like, oh, I really like this character. I mean, I've heard of him previous, but everything that I read about him, he sleeps with a lot of people, and left Barbara for like Starfire when she lost her legs, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like,
I remember that.
I don't know about this.
I've seen that in the comics. That's
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. And then watching the fan series kind of changed my mind, and then the more they started changing his character, it's like, oh, I kind of like you. and then my husband was cosplaying Batman, so that's like, oh, we got to have Nightwing.
Nice.
So then it piqued my interest even more. It's like, nope, we're doing Nightwing.
Which version? Go. Sorry.
Now I just love the character.
Nice. What
it's just Nightwing stuff.
I see that. I can see all the masks from here, including Red Hood's red mask as well. So, what version of Batman has your husband cosplayed?
The Arkham Knight.
Yes.
Have you seen the motorcycle suits?
The motorcycle suits?
Yeah, like the Arkham Knight motorcycle suit that you can get. That's the suit that he has.
I mean,
like the super expensive.
Let me. So Arkham. So wait, your husband cosplayed as Batman. Wait, the Arkham Knight. Wait, so your husband's cosplayed as Batman from Arkham Knight?
Yes.
So are you talking about the suit he first wears, or the upgraded suit he gets later on?
That's a good question.
All right, I'll just write husband Arkham. For anyone wondering, I'm writing lists of the cosplays we talk about, just so it's a reminder of me. Husband Arkham Knight suit. Okay.
Yeah, whatever this suit is, that's the one he has.
I think I have seen that before at con.
Yeah, I've seen Batmans on motorcycles with these suits. And look awesome.
Now, did your husband make his suit, or did you make it, or what was the process for that?
So he bought it. So before I met him, he already had it, and I don't know how much he spent on it, because like I think he bought each part separately.
Yeah, that's always a good thing to do.
Which is like $500 like per thing for the suit. Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Hey, sometimes it's.
I mean, I've been looking at the live action Titans Nightwing suit, and it's like, oh, I want it. It's expensive, but I want it.
That's a really nice suit.
It is. It'll happen eventually.
Oh, I'm sure it will. Question. Oh, what was I gonna ask now? I lost my train of thought again. Damn it! It's not your fault. I ask so many questions. I always forget to ask other questions. Oh yeah. What are your thoughts on making? And I'm not trying to like at anyone or don't at me, people. What are your thoughts on someone who wants to make a screen accurate cosplay? So I've seen your dad's cosplays, and his screen accurate stormtrooper is really well done.
It is.
We're not trying to make this about your dad, by the way. It's just.
Oh no, you're totally fine. I'm good with it. I'm personally like with my Mando. I don't care about screen accuracy. I really don't, because it's fun for me, and I want it to be how I like it, and so I change it because obviously I've done 3 different versions of Nightwing that you don't see anywhere else because it's what I want. So I'm just not that picky. It's like, it just, as long as you can recognize the character that I am, I'm good with it. But if you want to spend the money on screen accuracy, like if you see anyone from the 501st or the Mandalorian merch, oh my goodness. Like I talked to them at FanX. It's like, I would love to, but my costume no longer meets the requirements.
No, I totally understand. And I'm sure even with like your Nightwing and your Mando, you still do your research just to get an idea of what you
Yeah.
want to do, which I'm sure you can recommend that, even if you don't like, even if you aren't into the character, it still doesn't hurt to do your research just so you get an idea.
Yeah, like I have a galaxy themed Mandalorian costume. So it's like that's not really something you see. Well, I call it galaxy themed because I try to make it look like it was stars on it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Now, advice for someone who wants to do their first cosplay, because I know there are some cosplayers who will, when they look up cosplay, they'll automatically see people like Kamoya cosplay, Mole cosplay, Yaya Han, Jessica Nigri. Like, I know some people think that's what cosplay is. What advice would you want to give to
Oh,
someone who
I
thinks?
thought the same thing.
Well, so you have experience from that. What
Yeah,
advice
no,
would you want to give to someone who wants to like, I guess advice for someone who wants to when they make their own cosplays, what advice would you want to give to someone who wants to make a big build cosplay or like a very fancy like, oh my god, cosplay?
well, first thing, I don't recommend just typing in cosplay because you're gonna get images you don't really want to see. I I would suggest like specifically if you have a character in mind, like looking up other cosplayers of that character. Because yeah, that got me in trouble a few times. But
Ye-
I I don't know.
I guess it's kind of like take it one step at a time kind of thing. Don't rush yourself.
Yeah.
It's
That
valid.
that's
It's okay. I know there are always gonna be those questions on this channel that kind of stump people, and there's nothing wrong with that. One of my another favorite question of mine: have you ever had a con crunch cosplay? Like it was a cosplay, just you were like finally getting it finished just days before a con.
so personally, it wasn't on me. I laugh about it because I feel so bad. So I really wanted a Supergirl costume, and I'd found this fan art online. I think it was like on DeviantArt or something, and it
Ooh.
looked cool, and I wanted it into a cosplay. So I think it was like a week before FanX a few years ago. My husband and I went out shopping for fabric for the costume,
Oh yeah,
and
because it's like a skin tight material.
yeah, it's
It,
made
it
out of men's suiting.
is it the one where she's wearing the red skirt or like full on like from the Supergirl TV show where it's like all
So it's I'm trying to think. It's an original art that someone made that's
oh
not
no
based on anything. But I
nice.
wanted to cosplay it.
Oh, we're able to finish it?
Yeah, so 3 days before FanX, my husband finished the costume. And then like a
Nice.
week before he finished all of the last parts of it,
Nice.
which I felt so bad.
Hey, sometimes
But it looks cool.
now that brings me to another question. If you can't finish your cosplay if you know you can't finish that one cosplay on time for con, would you recommend bringing like a spare cosplay just in case, or just don't just casual
I
for the con?
I would say like you can always bring a backup. I mean, I bring a backup anyway, like regardless of the situation, just because you don't know what can happen. But like for my Red Hood that I did, like my new one that has like the full face cover mask, whatever it's called.
His
For
helmet?
yeah, for Fan X, I barely got it done in time for that con. But I was thinking, it's like, okay, if I get it done, then I get it done. If not, like I still have my Nightwing, I still have my Supergirl and my spider suit. So I had options. So it's like I don't want to stress about it. If it's done, it's done. Otherwise, I didn't worry about it.
Makes sense. Now one of my favorite questions, if you're familiar with this series, cosplay mishaps. Was something either it was a cosplay you were working on, or it happened at a convention that a piece broke, fell off, snap, rip, teared, or just something just did not go your way with it.
Uh, so one of my Nightwing costumes, like I said, Nightwing comes up a lot. I'm sorry.
Hey, it's okay. I've had people talk about the same cosplay on this series multiple times. So
It's just
you're
what I
another.
do the most and I
It,
wear the
it,
most.
it's your comfort character. There's nothing wrong with having a comfort character cosplay. We don't
Yeah,
judge. We
so
don't judge on this show, by the way, about that.
I think it was I can't remember if it was Planet Comic Con or if it was a Fan X. I was wearing my Nightwing, and I think my sister was like Deathstroke or something, and my costume decided to completely fall apart. And like my chest piece, like all of the buckles broke off, like my belt snapped in half, and then which is sad because it's like the Arkham Knight bat belt, which I really enjoy. I still have it because I was able to fix it, but it's just everything came off, like the shin guards broken places, my shoes even were coming apart, like everything in this costume that could fall apart fell apart. It's like, are you kidding me? And my sister had the same thing happen because I don't know if it's just Deathstroke's a cursed character, but almost every Deathstroke character cosplayer that I've met has had everything on that costume just fall apart. So we both had issues.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was a nightmare because I didn't have anything to fix it. And usually they have like a cosplay repair station, but we couldn't find it.
No, I mean, yeah, some cons don't always have a cosplay repair station.
Yeah, but these ones typically do. But yeah, we were kind of screwed on that one.
Oof, that's never fun.
Yeah, so but we couldn't take it off because we were dropped off. So we didn't have any place to carry our costumes.
Ouch.
To wear these broken costumes.
Yeah, that's never fun. Battle damaged, basically.
Oh yeah, like even my newest Nightwing's fallen apart. Like the duct tape, the back piece is ripping. But with this one, it's a little understandable because it's been 3.5 years. So
I mean,
it's lasted a while.
it's seen its wear and tear.
Yeah.
Hey, that happens. Now another one of my favorite questions: cosplay convention horror story is like basically something that made you go like, did that actually just happen, and why did it happen? It's just a weird experience, basically.
So because I'm female and I typically, with spider suit in particular, skin tight suit, and it's a little bit more revealing, like I mentioned earlier, people seem to think that it's okay to come up to me and touch me.
Cosplay does not equal consent.
Exactly. And there's like signs everywhere. It's like, no, I don't like this. And then people get really aggressive with me. And it's like, I'm okay if like little kids do it because they're innocent, they don't know better. It's like, oh, here's my favorite character. Let's see if they're real.
But when it's a grown ass adult, come on,
Yeah.
it's sad when a kid it's sad when a kid has more respect than an adult.
Yeah, at least kids ask. I've had that where kids
not every kid asks, but it's I kind of give that a pass, but at the same time, it's like, okay, parents, you got to teach your kid, hey, ask permission or something. But
unless it's like a really expensive suit, then like I don't.
Oh yeah, no. I totally understand that.
But like, yeah, that has made me uncomfortable quite a few times.
That's totally valid, and
so I now like feel very self-conscious when I'm in my spider suit, because even posting like professional photos that I've gotten taken, I've had really inappropriate things said to me, and it's like, it's not what I do.
Not cool, man. No,
that's not why I'm cosplaying this character.
No,
like somewhere else for that. Like
it's kind of sad that every con, well, not every con, but the cons that do have the sign, like it's right there in big fat letters, like cosplay, ask permission, stuff like that. Like, you think you're an adult, you should be able how to read. A kid,
nope.
It's a gray area, but like when adults, like not just men, but also I've heard stories where female attendees are kind of like that towards male cosplayers. And it's just, yeah, no, cosplay does not equal consent. I don't care if you think, and no, they're not dressing like that they're not dressing up for your benefit. They're dressing because it's a character they like.
Yeah, those typically are the horror stories that I have, just people that come up to me and it just nope, no touchy.
Yeah, no, yeah, just I know, I totally get it.
Like creepy people, and me and my sister experienced it at the same time. Like there was this, we were at Planet Comic Con, which is in Kansas City, Missouri, and I was Nightwing and she was Deathstroke. We both had people tell us how adorable we were, how pretty. It's like, oh, you have a nice face. It's like, first of all, can't see her face because she's wearing a Deathstroke helmet. You can only see her eye. So it's like, that's not valid. And then I was wearing a face mask. And my face was covered. So it's like, you can't see my face either. So it's those things that typically happen to me, is just creepy people. It's like, no, because then people will ask for my number and like, nah, no, not happening.
No.
Not why I'm going here. It's like, you may be here for that purpose, but that's not why the rest of us are here.
Female cosplayers are just, they're people too. You got to respect the boundaries, people. If they say no, they don't want a picture, whatever, respect that.
Yeah. I have my own Facebook page for my cosplay, and I've had to make several posts about inappropriate things being said, inappropriate messages, because especially with the spider suit, because you can see so much more of me, that people think it's okay to say inappropriate things. So it's like, I have blocked people, I have banned them, because it's like the content that
you're in your right to do that. It is your cosplay page. If they don't like that,
people have gotten so upset with me about it. It's like, oh, what's your problem? Like, can't you like take a joke? It's like, no, because that's not the point of my cosplay. I'm doing this for me, and I do it for children because, like, I do a lot of charity work,
and that's really nice that you, and that's really cool that you do a lot of in character charity work for these places.
Yeah, even tomorrow I have a charity event like up in Ogden near where I live. It's for autistic kids, and so it's an Avenger theme. So I'm obviously gonna wear my Spider Girl.
Nice. I mean, this video won't be up till like February, but that's pretty cool that you're doing that you did that.
But even outside of the con setting, I don't know when it was, probably somewhere in this year, I was asked to do an event with Spider-Gwen as my Mary Jane kind of version of Spider Girl. And I was in the parking lot, and like I said, I wear multiple bodysuits underneath. So I was just taking off my spider suit because I can't drive in it. The gloves are too slippery. And some guy decided to pull out in front of me to kind of block me off and tell me how hot I looked in my suit.
Again, cosplay is not consent.
What I'm doing. And I explained to him, it's like, I'm actually here for a charity event. This is for kids. Like, I don't really appreciate this being said. And then he proceeded to like, oh, well, how old are you? It's like, if you were starting the conversation with how old I am, you need to go away.
Oh yeah. No, definitely.
It's like, oh, so yeah, that's typically what happens to me.
What advice would you want to give to people who don't understand that rule, that cosplay is not consent rule? Especially for them, because there are some people who may not know about it. What advice would you want to give about cosplay is not consent?
Like if it's pictures, or if you want to like touch a part of their costume or something, like always ask. Like there are times where I'm okay with people taking photos without permission, but again, it's in different circumstances, so it's not always going to be someone willing to want their pictures taken.
Like when friends take pictures of you, if you're a friend group, that's one thing, but if it's a complete stranger, always ask permission.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now favorite cosplay, and wait, before I ask about, you said you attended Planet Galaxy Con. What is that?
It's called Planet Comic Con.
I've never heard of that. Mind talking a little bit about that con?
So I never heard of it either, but my mom and my sister used to live in Missouri, and so she told me, it's like, oh, there's Planet Comic Con that happens every year. It's like, okay, don't know what this is. So I went there with her, and I think it was like 3 days. Kind of similar to Rose City, with like a mix of like Salt Lake. It's a very big convention.
It's called Planet Comic Con?
Yeah.
I'm looking that up right now. Continue.
It was a huge convention center. her. It had like 2 floors. It's like it never ends.
Would this be the logo for it?
Yes.
It's a pretty cool logo.
It was really cool. And I got to meet John Wesley Shipp.
Oh, you
And
got the guy who played as Flash?
yes, twice actually.
Nice. Oh, that's right, because he played as Jay Garrick and the other Flash.
Yeah, it's not in here, it's in my living room, but I have a Flash Pop figure that I got him to sign for me.
And it looks like it's gonna be the 17th or the 19th in March.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
See, it's kind of a mix of those two big Comic Cons.
I mean, I'm looking at I'm looking at the guest list. I mean, sorry, I like.
They have some pretty good guests.
I've never heard of this. Roger Craig Smith, Chris Claremont.
I think that's also the con we met. I can't pronounce his name. Something who was Deathstroke and Arrow.
Giancarlo Esposito. Wow, a lot of like comic book related. That's pretty cool. That sounds like a fun con. I have to look to that con.
Oh, it is so fun.
Planet,
and they were like, there's what?
Oh, there's also one called Planet Anime in Kansas City.
Oh,
which is in October. Interesting.
I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That sounds like a pretty cool con. If I need to look into that con myself.
Oh, it was cool.
Nice.
So I was trying to find a picture of the Supergirl thing, and I can't find it.
So before we talk about future cosplays, favorite cosplay and convention experiences. Your favorite, like, it was something that like made that, you know, to this day it's still your favorite memory for a convention or cosplay experience.
I would probably say Rose City. I wasn't in my Nightwing very long because it was so humid. Me and my husband were dying of heat. Like we were the instant we put on our suits.
Oh, that's right, because Rose City is in August.
Yeah,
it's a summer con. Yeah, no, that's
yeah. We were dripping in sweat. It wasn't great, that aspect. So we were like maybe a half an hour to an hour, but outside of cosplay, I love that con. I would really like to go back to it.
Nice. Mind giving your husband a shout out, by the way?
You what?
Mind giving your husband a shout out, by the way?
Does he deserve one? No. I'm totally kidding. Yeah, so my husband's name is James, but he goes by Jim. So
perfect reason to cosplay is Jim Gordon.
You know, he's balding, so it might work.
We joke on here, but it's all in good fun.
I call my husband bald all the time. He doesn't appreciate it, but I think it's funny.
Shout out to you, Jim. But but Rose City Comic Con has probably been like your favorite convention.
I really enjoyed it. That was so
nice. Favorite? Do you have any favorite convention stories?
Most of mine would probably be like either panels that I've been to or like celebrities that I've met.
Nice.
And I cannot remember how to pronounce his first name, so I'm just gonna say his last name. So Walter, if you've ever seen the live action Titans show, the kid who plays Red Hood, I got to meet him.
I can actually look him up right now and see what his name is. What was it like meeting? What was it like meeting? And his Red Hood, honestly, from the clips and trailers I've seen of Titans, the helmet is like.
Oh, it's awesome.
Seeing the LED lights on the helmet.
Yeah, it was so awesome. He was so nice. I died inside.
Nice. What name? Character. Give me a minute. Actor. Curran Walters.
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy, right. And for those who want to see what his Red Hood outfit looks like.
Oh, it is so awesome.
Oh, that's pretty cool. You got to meet someone who played as your favorite character.
Yeah, and there was a lot of people that were dressed up as Red Hood because obviously if he's there, that's a must.
It's an icon. It's one of those cosplays you will always see at a comic book themed con.
Time. Especially if the actor there that is playing him live action, oh, you better believe they're going to be everywhere. And they were. And they were getting angry with me because, oh, there's another Red Hood. It's like, yeah, what did you expect?
I
The
mean,
Red Hood itself in live action is here.
I think people need to learn when their favorite voice actor or comic book writer comes to con, you better expect to see 20 30 to see like 10 20 30 people cosplay as something that they played or written or did art for.
Yeah.
There's no playing Where's Waldo there. So future cosplays, characters that you would love to do or you're currently working on.
I would really love to do an Iron Man suit.
Which version of Iron Man? Like the movie?
I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's going to be like based on a comic or like movies or like some kind of original idea. I really like the Pepper Potts like rescue suit, the blue and
the blue one from Iron Man 3 and Endgame.
Yeah, I really like that one. That one would be really cool. And I have been looking into like videos on how to make it and stuff, but most of it's 3D printed, and I don't have a 3D printer. So yeah, it'll happen at some point.
I mean, your standard 3D printer is anywhere from $200 to $300.
Yeah, but I would really like to do that one.
Nice. It seems like a good chunk of, and I'm not, I'm not hating or anything, but it seems like your comfort cosplays are like comic book characters, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Oh yeah.
And it seems like you like giving them a twist, which is pretty cool. Any other
just have to work on a daily basis.
any other future cosplays or cosplays you're currently working on that you're waiting to do or wanting to do?
I really want to do a Batgirl.
Nice.
I mean, I get called it enough. It's like maybe it's about time I make one.
Nice.
Because when I'm in my Nightwing, I get, which I don't know how people got Catwoman, but I've been called Catwoman, I've been called Wonder Woman, I've been called Batgirl, and it's like maybe I should just.
I mean, the blue Nightwing's easy to tell because of the blue, which I forgot to ask on your stealth on your Nightwing cosplay, the one you showed me. What material did you use for the emblem? I forgot to ask about that.
It is also EVA film.
Oh, and I imagine that took quite a bit just to get the right shape and size and everything.
I think I went through like maybe 5 or 6 emblems.
Nice. Have you made any batarangs at all?
No, and I need to. Like, I would like the steel ones. I mean, I have one that my sister bought me, which I use.
Nice.
But I think foam might be the best bet because if kids swipe it from you, they're not going to get hurt.
Oh,
that
yeah,
or
no.
like rubber.
Oh yeah,
because
no.
The one I have is pretty pointy.
Nice. Okay. One question I forgot to ask because you usually make props. What's been, aside from the Jason Todd guns and the staff batons, what's been the biggest prop you've made?
So it was a Christmas present for my husband, and it's out in my living room. But I'll see if I can find a picture. I made a Zelda shield 3 days before Christmas. So I was back here in my room, just breathing in all the fumes. Didn't have a respirator on, and my windows don't open. But I didn't want him to know what I was. Yeah, I felt it for weeks, man. But I didn't want him to know what I was making. So I like had my door closed and not proper ventilation. So I made it in 3 days as his Christmas present, and it's probably my favorite thing that I've made. And I want to make a second one.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
the Hylian shield. That's pretty cool. Is it like to scale too?
I tried to make it to scale, but he's too tall.
I imagine he's wanted to cosplay as Link or has cosplayed as Link.
I think he's wanted to.
Nice.
I planned on making the sword, but that was a disaster.
Oh, I mean, I it's totally understandable.
Well,
Um,
the shield, the shield it looks pretty cool to me.
nice.
Oh,
So last question before we end this podcast. Just any general advice you want to give out there to those who are watching and listening, just advice in general for cosplaying and conventions.
hmm. Sorry, I'm trying to think.
Hey, it's good. You're like I said, you're completely fine.
I don't know.
Just have fun kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's best advice I can give. And like I said before, like you don't have to like dress up or anything if that's not something that you're comfortable with. But if you want to, like, just go and experience it and then see if you like it. And then like the next year, if you want to like go all 3 or 4 days, depending on the con you go to, like I do it.
That's some pretty sound advice, and yeah, no, I wholeheartedly
I don't
agree.
recommend it if you argue with your sister on a daily basis, because that's gonna be a nightmare.
You argued with your sister about concept before too.
Oh yeah.
That will be probably
I don't
that's
know if I need to do it anymore. She gets in these moods where everything has to go exactly to her plan. But like I said, cons don't always happen according to your plan.
Oh no, no.
Time.
I think anyone can agree. You can do your best to plan a con, say we're gonna do this,
Yeah.
this, and this, but then you get to the cons like, wait, I changed my mind. I want to do that now.
Yeah, especially if there's like last minute photo ops and like you have to adjust your time, like what panels you want to see. Like it gets a little crazy.
Hey, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I
Yeah.
think that should about do it. Again, Sam, thank you for coming on to share your cosplay and convention experience. Look, I'm sure looking forward to seeing what cosplays you come up with in the future. And yeah.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
also
Sorry
again,
for the
also
nightwing overload.
oh no, you're fine. Like I said, I've people have talked about the same cosplay multiple times during
I
their interviews.
balanced out with Red Hood, so there's something.
Oh yeah, no, the Red Hood one is really cool. So yeah, I think that should do it. Again, thank you. And
Yeah.
also for those who are watching, I'm Wendy Unknown. As always, thank you for listening, and until next time, thank you for watching.